Hey, Dot Danny here with the PT Entrepreneur Podcast, and today I want to share some thoughts with you that I have after having numerous conversations the last couple of weeks. Clinic owners that I'm having conversations with around the country who are currently looking to exit their business, and even internally with some of the people that we work with. I've been doing a lot of individual calls and conversations with a gamut of people that are in the space, and a lot of this also I'm prepping for CSM. So as I'm doing more and more research for the presentation topics that I have, I've come to the conclusion that I need to really address something that I think I don't know if we've hammered this home well enough, and I think that if you've listened to my podcast for a while, definitely for years, you've probably noticed that I don't get quite as heated as I used to get about topics. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I don't think it's essentially a great thing for someone to have to get angry as a 40-year-old man, right? And I've worked really hard on that. But it doesn't mean that deep down, there's not a little monster inside of me that sometimes loses his fucking mind. And as of recent, I've been incredibly frustrated with conversations with clinicians that I've seen across the spectrum of different stages, where I'm seeing the same mistake over and over and over again. And a lot of this just comes from conversations with people that we've never had a chance to work with, that are either potentially interested in working with us, or B, they're struggling and they're asking for our help because they've gotten themselves in such a bad position. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to the same thing. As a solo clinician, you can replace your income with minimal business experience, minimal business understanding. You can literally be a really good clinician. You can have high emotional intelligence, likable, and people will come and see you because if you're good at what you do and you can help them solve a problem, then you can develop business that way. You can replace your income, let me put it that way. So you can make a lateral transfer. I'm not saying it's easy. It's actually really hard. But being a great clinician and being good with people puts you in a place where you can replace your income. It might take you 2 to 3 years to do so, but you can definitely do it. Now, I consider this sort of a trap. This is a solo provider success trap. And I know this very well because I did the same shit myself almost 10 years ago. And it's one of the reasons why we started PT Biz to begin with. Because when I had success as a clinician, individually, I thought that I knew how to run a business. Then I went into scale phase number 1, which is me moving into a standalone space and hiring staff. Now, what happened with us was a net loss within 6 months of almost $100,000. We did a expansion build out completely wrong. We paid for everything out of pocket instead of managing our cash flow correctly because we didn't know the first thing about finance. And we hired too early. We compensated incorrectly. We didn't even have the right insurances in place. We didn't know how to negotiate a standalone space, which would have saved us literally tens of thousands of dollars in build out costs that we didn't know that would have been covered by our landlord if we would have been able to negotiate properly. We didn't even have a commercial realtor represent us. In fact, I brought one in after the fact and had to pay them out of pocket. We made every mistake you could possibly imagine. And luckily for us, we had enough of a cash buffer where we made it through and our business was thriving, within a year after that. But it took us a very long time to build our reserves back up, and that stung. And that's the very first place where I realized that I was a liability to my business. I don't know if you have to learn that you are a liability to your business the same way that I did. I hope that you do not. I hope that you're watching this or you listen to this and you hear what I'm saying as the truth, that if you do not understand how to run your business, if you don't understand finance, if you don't understand taxes, if you don't understand hiring, the legalities around that, how to systemize your business, how to compensate people correctly to where it's fair and it doesn't cripple your business, how to actually market and get people on a ongoing basis that isn't tied just directly to you, how to scale sales past just yourself, how to actually be able to train your staff, how to follow up with your staff and be a good leader so that they don't all just leave. This is the tip of the fucking iceberg of what I'm talking about. And yet you go to school to become a physical therapist and you open a business and you have a little bit of success as a solo provider and you think, I got this shit. But your business is how you provide for your family. And you don't know how to run it. It's like, look, my son, he'll get his learner's permit this year, which is crazy to think about. He can drive a car. At the end of the year, he will legally be able to drive a car with supervision. But if I just threw him the keys and he can drive, but it doesn't mean that he knows how to drive. And not only is it dangerous for him, but it's dangerous for everybody else around him. If you are driving your business and you don't know how to drive it, you have a vehicle that you don't know how to drive, you are a danger to yourself, to your family, and to all of your employees who depend on you to pay their mortgage and buy groceries and pay their student loans. And your lack of understanding how to even run your own business is the limiting factor in whether you're going to be able to scale, and not just scale, but to do so in a secure manner. The amount of business owners that I talk to that are going through a scale phase, that are in incredibly bad positions during that phase, that are reaching out to us trying to figure out, oh my God, I'm in a sinking ship, what do I do now, is astounding. If I ever see one of these businesses go out of business or go bankrupt or just have to shut down and carry a bunch of business debt with them the rest of their life, it's because it's this stage. And their sheer arrogance that they understand how to run a business is killing them. Their lack of admitting that they don't know what they're doing is killing them. It's the whole reason that we even have a business with PT Biz. Is because of the shit that I went through. Not only did it almost ruin my business, it almost ruined my marriage, my health at the same time. And it took me having to go through all that and to really have my arrogance chipped down to where I realized, holy crap, dude, you don't know what you're doing. And why would I think that I would? What in my mind would think that I understand how to run a business? I went to physical therapy school. I spent years trying to become a fantastic physical therapist. Studying research, going to Con Ed courses, doing mentorship, doing all kinds of different advanced programs. And somehow I thought that parlayed into business success. This is a completely different game, a completely different knowledge base. And if you're not willing to learn it, here's what's going to happen. A, stay small. Stay small and do not take on the additional risk of scaling past yourself. If you're not willing to understand and learn how to run a business, don't do it, okay? I'm telling you, just stay small. It's going to be the best thing for you. You probably are going to, be able to replace your income, maybe even more so, and just chill there. If you don't care to learn about business, don't do this. If you decide you want to scale past yourself, you must invest in yourself on the education side to understand business. Whether that be with PT Biz, where you decide to actually go and work with a different group, you decide, I'm going to go the traditional route and get an MBA, whatever, I don't care. Like, you have to realize your business skill set is a limiting factor. And it is dangerous and irresponsible of you to not actually delve into learning the business side of running these clinics. Because if you are going to go through a scale phase, you are going to get slapped with the reality that you don't know what the fuck you are doing with your business, and it's how you provide for your family. And that is irresponsible. Do not make that mistake. Don't reach out to me and ask me to save you when this happens, because that's what happens to us all the time. I'm fucking tired of it. If this is what it takes for you to realize that you don't know what you're doing, me getting mad and yelling at you on a goddamn YouTube video, then cool, great. But if you don't know these prerequisite skills, you are a liability to yourself, your family, and your employees. And that is just like such a fucking irresponsible thing to do. Don't do it. Don't even scale. Don't do it. If you're willing to learn this information and invest in yourself, awesome. The sky's the limit for you. I'll tell you, in the last 6 months, I've had conversations with multiple private equity brokers, multiple family offices that are actively looking at the cash-based physical therapy space as a place that they want to invest because they see the growth that's happening there. The future is incredibly bright for those of us that actually take the time to take a step back and say, all right, I'm turning my ability to learn information, high level, which you've done because you passed a lot of tests, you're very smart, and you have to apply it over here on the business side. That means you have to switch from being a clinician to being a CEO. And if you're unwilling to do that, then just stay small and be a clinician. That is my advice to you. Don't even mess with it. But if you're willing to learn, you're willing to become a CEO, you're willing to invest in yourself to really understand that you have to gain skills that you don't have right now. And if you don't, your business is going to suffer because of it. And you're financially going to suffer because of it. Your employees are going to suffer because of it. When in actuality, you have a fantastic opportunity, way better opportunity than we had 11 years ago when I started my clinic. But it's up to you to be self-aware enough, to be honest enough with yourself to say, okay, I understand I don't know what I'm doing. It's like I can give you a scalpel and you can do surgery, but it doesn't mean that you're going to actually do it. The tool is not the problem. The knowledge is what you need. The experience, the repetitions, the mentorship. And for God's sakes, our entire profession is built off of this. We go to school, then we find clinical mentors, then we actually go to Con Ed courses, residencies, fellowships, all this stuff so that we can be a better clinician. What makes you think on the business side you can just skip all of that when it's actually even more complex and confusing and hard? And it directly ties to your ability to provide for your family and your employees. Like, this is silly that we even have to have this conversation. But over and over again, this happens to us where we see people reaching out when it's too late. I can't dig you out of these holes. You're in trouble. That's it. Shut it down. Move on. You've lost the game. It's like you get a certain amount of lives in Mario, and when you're out, you're out. And you need to understand how to actually play the game without putting yourself in danger and your business in danger and your staff in danger. And that is what's so frustrating for us sometimes, is that, like, for such a smart profession that we are, we're so stupid when it comes to the fact that we're unwilling to admit that we don't know how to run a business. And I can tell you this firsthand because I did it. And I almost ruined an incredible business in the process. And looking back on it, what a huge mistake. And some of you maybe have to learn it the hard way, like I did. I hope this helps you avoid it. But if it doesn't, that's okay. That's on you. I hope you make it out the other side the way that I did. You're going to have a lot more scars, but you're going to have some stories. You're going to learn things the hard way, and you're going to realize that you need to check your ego at the door, because that's what stopped me from actually getting help. I thought I could figure it out because I had early success getting my schedule busy. But a solo provider versus scaled business are two incredibly different things. And I implore you, please do not make the same mistakes that I did. It's not worth it. Get the help that you need. Learn how to run your business. Don't throw the keys to the car to a 15-year-old that doesn't know shit about driving.